Yes, I am recording. Yes, yes, yes. All right, you guys, my name is Kelly Hoover. I know a lot of people will probably be watching the replay, but tonight I have asked Miss Ashley Hickman to share, and I will be sharing also. And this is our third part 3 of the 3-part series of the boot camp. And so if you have not had an opportunity to watch the boot camp number 1, which was all about what do you post on social media, and it was really creating your social media buckets. We did that last Sunday, and it was a pretty intense one. It's one that you really need to think through. I would encourage you to go back. I know Miss Sarah was on it and has been sharing about being a teacher, which is something she hasn't shared about. So I'm so proud of you for that. And then we did December goal setting workshop, which hopefully you guys are, have got your goals in place and you are tracking it. One of the things that I will share with you before we dive into tonight's topic is just to keep that goal sheet out in front of you that you can visually see it every single day. I started a new habit after Wednesday night and putting my paper that sits on the right side of my desk. This is it. And I put it down right here on the bottom of where my devotional and my affirmations journal is. So when I get up in the morning, I know I'm doing my devotional, I'm doing my morning routine, and then my goals are right underneath it. It's sort of allowed me the opportunity to set my intentions a little bit more specifically on the goals that I set. So if you have a hard time with like, oh, you're great at goal setting, but pulling through your goals, take a picture of them, have it send you an email, do something so it's refreshing, post it on your mirror, write in an expo marker on your mirror, something, because goals are great, but then when we fail to track them or to follow the plan to track them, then what are we really setting them for? So tonight's part 3 is how to have conversations online. What do you say? And so first off, we just came off of a Zoom about people sharing their story, and that is a lot about it. And before I kick it over to Ashley to have her really just to share, and I have just a quick setup for you too, Ashley, but I want you to know that having conversations online, it doesn't matter where you're at right now, you can improve in this, and you can think about the conversations you would have if someone were face to face with you. And so whatever the situation may be, you can, imagine yourself that you are face to face to someone, especially if you're good face to face. And I know Ashley is amazing face to face. And so in the transition, you really have to sort of learn it. Now, maybe you're great not face to face and you're great behind the computer, whatever it is, the conversations, you guys, can be the same. Don't make it awkward, right? Like you can meet some of your best friends right here on social media, but it starts with a conversation. It starts with what you have to say, and you can get better at this. I mean, I promise you, Ashley did not wake up and was all of a sudden great at it. She is better now than she was 3 months ago. She's better now than she was a year ago. Same for me. I didn't even have a friend online, before I started this business. Like I knew them all in real life. Now, most all of you I've met online. I've met through social media or either reconnected, right? So I just want you to put it into perspective. And the other thing I want to tell you is if your business, and I'm not talking about your team business, I'm talking about your personal business, your PPA, your personal volume is not where you want it to be. I want you to really take to heart conversations and genuine, heartfelt conversations and your intentions with each one you have. And you guys, if you have situations or you have questions as Ashley's talking and I'm talking, drop them in the chat because we want you to walk away with like how to do this. So Ashley, I want to kick it over to you, and I really share whatever is on your heart about this specific topic. But I also want you to think specifically about, some things that you've done really well and some things that you're like, oh gosh, that didn't work out so well, because we've all been down that path, right? So I'm going to kick it over to you and share a little bit about your success and how to really generate those conversations online.
Thank you. So, this is definitely, like you said, something that I have really been working on because I'm an extrovert at heart. So I do really well face to face. I can strike up a conversation with just about anyone. The social media stuff in Messenger was a little more difficult for me in the beginning because I'm used to being face to face. Well, anyone face to face knows I have a million kids and I'm crazy busy running around, and they just know that. Well, on social media, it's a little different. Yeah, they see all these pictures, but well, who are those kids? Do you just have a lot of people at your house or are they yours? Like, there's questions there. So, over the last few months, I've really dove deep in how to start a conversation with someone I don't know on social media. Our friends list, we can max out at 5,000 people. Okay. Chances are you probably don't know all those people. I don't know all those people. And I can tell you, my husband has asked me multiple times, hey, who's this? I have no idea who that is. Right. But the goal is to get to know those people. Well, how do you do that? I have friends of friends. Okay. The very first thing and the tip that I can give you is look at your friends of friends. Okay. First things first is you have a mutual party that you can strike up a conversation about. So, tip number one is going to be talk about it. If you have someone that's a mutual friend of someone else, guess what? If you were at a party with someone, you would strike up a conversation and say, hey, do you know so and so? I seen them on your friends list. Hello, there's your step one in the door. Then they can say, oh, yeah, that's so and so, and I know her from here. And the conversation can start there. And y'all, look, think about it as going to a party at your kid's birthday party or a cousin's birthday party or whoever. When you're there, you're going to have a lot of people in front of you that you don't know. The first thing most people ask is, what do you do for a living? There it is. You know, a lot of people ask that. Have that spill ready. Have what you're going to say ready, because even on social media, people are going to ask that. Now, for me, I'm very open about it on my page. It takes zero time for people to see what I do because I'm very open about it. I'm not one of those quiet thrivers. I'm not going to, beat around the bush. Like, it is what it is. But tip number two, if there's someone that you want to get to know on social media, go to their page. Go to their page. Can you connect with their profile picture? Okay. Very simple things. What are they dressed like? Do they have kids? Do they have a banner around their profile picture that says adopted parent? Or what does their banner say? Are they in nursing? Are they medical? Like that right there, just their profile picture alone can give you a topic and a way in. You can use whatever that is. I have connected with 3 adopted parents simply based on their circle because it had something about adoption on it. And I immediately messaged them and said, hey, I'm an adoptive parent too. How many did you adopt? Where did you adopt from? Give me all the deets because this is my adoptive story. It gets your foot in the door and they immediately trust you because you have something in common with them. Don't be afraid to throw that out there. Don't be afraid to make a suggestion or just barrel through of, hey, I saw this on your page. I wanted to say something about it. And then tip number 3, y'all, there are some people who are very open about what's going on in their personal life. Pay attention to that. I, this last week or the week before, had someone on my friends list. I had never commented on her page before, never engaged with her, never messaged her, nothing. It was completely cold, completely cold. And she posted a post that said, I'm 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 making a change. I'm changing who I am. I've had enough of that life. Like this whole thing of she's ready for a new way of life, blah, blah, blah. She was asking suggestions on used cars. Who had one? She needed a vehicle. She's babysitting at home. She knows it's going to take 4 months for her to save up the money to get a car. Read between the lines. Like that post right there is, hey, number one, she's ready to be a different person. Number two, she's responsible enough to know how long it's going to take for her to save the money for what she's doing to purchase a car. Then think about the business side of it. I mean, she needs a vehicle. She's babysitting. Hello, we can get $1,200, $1,100 in the next 2 weeks. I mean, that would cut her time in half for purchasing her car. Like, you have to read between the lines. And so the way in with this particular person, I messaged her and I said, hey, have you ever taken a personality test? I said, I know this is weird that I'm reaching out to you because you have no idea who I am. But I started this journey 2 years ago, and I started with a personality test because I needed to know who I was first. And y'all, like, she immediately was like, oh my goodness, yeah. Thrive is in my name. Thrive is on my page. It is in my stories. Like, it is everywhere. And she messaged back. So I sent her the link to the personality test. I said, hey, if you have any trouble, like, figuring out what it is, let me know. Like, and once you get your results, tell me what they are. I'm curious to know because I love personalities. And so it just started this dialogue. So when people post things like that, don't be scared to reach out to them and offer something that can help move it further. It's not saying that those people are immediately going to thrive with you, but it's the conversations that are going to start that seed planting. You've got to plant the seed. And y'all, you can connect with them on where they live in a particular town. Is it somewhere you vacationed? Is it somewhere you want to go? You can connect with them on the people that they know. You can connect with where are they going? Have they tagged themselves somewhere? So did they go to Crumble Cookie? I started a conversation with somebody like a few weeks ago about Crumble Cookie because I didn't know we had one near us. And I was like, no way, just because they checked in at Crumble Cookie. All of those things, every little thing that you have done, seen, heard, visited, whatever is a conversation starter. Don't be scared to reach out to them, because if you're reaching out to them with that, they're going to be more likely to definitely come back and have a conversation with you. And final thing that I will leave you is when you're having these conversations, don't be scared to bring up what you do. And you can start that conversation by asking them what they do for a living. A lot of people want to talk about themselves. And most of the time, if you ask them a question, they're going to ask you one back. So if you ask them, hey, how many kids do you have? They're going to respond, 3. How many do you have? What do you do for work? Well, I do this. What do you do? They're going, that dialogue's going to be there. And if they're not asking those questions, you ask those questions. It is so easy to keep it going when you are connecting with people like your, your avatars. When you're connecting with your avatars, those things are going to flow. There was something else and I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Well, just pop back in if you do. So good. So you guys, I hope you were taking notes on some of the examples. And if you guys have any questions or anything at all, just unmute yourself or drop them in the chat. Some of the notes that I took was, as far as the connection goes, like, I love the examples that you gave, Ashley, about look on their page and find something. And here's the thing, you guys, if you went through the workshop about your social media and who you are as a brand, as a person, not Thrive as your brand, but you and how you're showing up, every one of those things are connection spots. Okay. Every single one of those things, geotags, where you're going. I love that. Like restaurants, towns, any of those places you can meet people. I mean, think about the next time you go out and you're maybe going out to a restaurant and maybe it's a new place. Look at people who've tagged themselves there and reach out to them and say, hey, I saw that you posted, you went to this restaurant at, last weekend or 2 weekends ago. What did you get? What's your, you can connect with someone about somewhere that you're going. And so making that connection about anything, but it's about what's on their page, not what we want. And the other thing that I love what you really said, and I'm going to say in a little bit of a different way, is serving them. The example that you gave about a personality test, first off, that's genius, by the way. I knew you did that, but it's been a while since I've heard you say it. What great advice for people, right? Like what great advice. And just to be able to serve someone in that way, all that's doing is building a trust, right? It's building a trust with someone. Imagine if you could serve people where they're at, and then you're putting out killer content with your stories and your posts. I guarantee you will have people coming to your inbox when you combine it that way. Don't be afraid to talk about what you do. Be very intentional when the timing is right to share your story. And I challenged you guys, and then I'm going to read these questions. I challenged you, I think it was on the goal setting, the workshop number 2, to track how many conversations you have and how many times you share your story, your business or your product story. And if you have not started that yet, I'm going to challenge you again. I will say the next 5 days, Monday through Friday, challenge yourself to keep a little sticky note pad and see how many times you talk about it. And I guarantee if you're not tracking it, you will be surprised how little you actually share your story. And when you realize it, you think you're doing and you think you're busy, but when we're not sharing our story, we're not being as intentional, we're not making those connections, then you generally will show up in our business. So I'm going to go back and look at your questions. Okay, so Caitlin says the other day she connected with someone who posted in their stories about loving personal development books. Would it be weird to just jump? No, absolutely not, Caitlin. I love that. So here's what I would do. And then Ashley, I'll let you, if you would do something different, I'd love for you to share it. So if I actually, Caitlin, this is a huge connection opportunity for you. I love connecting. I ask probably this once a week. Anytime I see someone share, which you guys probably see me share, like the inside of my books all the time. You guys, every time I do that, 1 to 4 people ask me about it. I don't always post the book. Why? Because I want you to ask, not necessarily you, but like anyone to ask. It creates a conversation, right? And so anything that you're doing, that is not, I'm posting that because it's serving my heart and it's something to share. So Caitlin, you could easily just jump into her inbox, especially if that story is over. You could just say, hey, I noticed the other day on your stories, you shared about personal development books, right? You're connecting it back to something they shared, and just say like, I don't know if it was what she shared, but you could say, what's your favorite, or what one are you reading now? Or how do you decide which ones? Who's your favorite author? Something along those lines. And you can start generating a conversation. Do you read them? Do you do Audible? Do you have a goal of how many you read? So anything like that, because that is one of your buckets, Caitlin. And I think it's a great thing. Ashley, do you have anything to add to that?
I do. And what's so funny about this is it really depends on the person who shared it, especially if they're a mom. If they're a mom and that connects with me, the first thing I'm going to say is, hey, I saw your story, but something crazy happened and it's gone now. So can you tell me what it was again? Like what or where did you find it, or something like that? Because I want them to know that I'm human. I want them to know that, hey, I'm a mom too, and I know life gets crazy. And that's going to really start pulling that their pain points out. When you connect with them on that and say, hey, I get you, like that mom brain is something crazy, right? You're connecting with them on a level and you're going to start to pull those pain points out immediately. So I like to do that. And it connects us on more of a level playing field, because they have something that I really want and I need, and I have something that they need that they don't know yet. I think you're muted.
I am. Yeah, no, that's so good. I love that. And that's like another entire connection, right? So personality test, there are so many, you guys, and I know Ashley just sent a link, so you can definitely share. But there are so many. This was something in pharmaceuticals we had to do all the time. Like I have taken so many personality tests. I would encourage you to take several, okay? Like, because they're all different. But some of the best are the Myers-Briggs test. Okay, that is a gold standard of testing. I don't know if it's free. Myers-Briggs test is amazing. Knowing your colors. So I can't remember the name, but it's like red, yellow, green, and blue. Oh my gosh, what is that one called? I can't remember. I will pop some of them in. Also another one is your Enneagram, and that's sort of like a little bit newer. But your Enneagram is something that if you're working business on Instagram, super hot to connect with people on your Enneagram. Like I'm a 3-wing 2. And so when I see somebody who's a 3-wing 2, I'm like, oh, we get each other, right? Like, and then you can start looking at people whose other Enneagrams. And if somebody tells me their Enneagram number, I automatically know so much about them. And that is like, I have a lot of links to different things. So if you have trouble, but you can just go into Google and do them. Ashley, which one did you do? What kind is it? Because there's a lot out there, you guys, that are like one-offs. And then there's a lot of really good, like national standardized ones. Which one was yours? I didn't recognize the name of it.
Marcusetta.
Okay. I don't know that one, but that doesn't mean, anything.
It's the colors, the red, yellow.
Oh, it
green.
tells you the colors. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it's just probably somebody reproducing it, because that's not the original person. But I would take several, go on to you guys Pinterest or Google and find one. And there are a lot of different ones. But yeah, Myers-Briggs. Let's see here. I'm trying to look and see. Oh, I cannot remember the name of it. If I can remember the name of it, my husband, his entire company, they did, not even kidding you, a meeting every week for like 18 months about personality, because they're in sales. And the thing about the personalities is it's good to know your own, but you really need to know the other person's that you're helping serve. And you can really identify, like color wise, like I am very red, like very, very, very red. And you can kind of know that. There's also like dolphin, shark, whale, and sea urchin, I think. So, but that actually may be a good thing to do. I'll see if I can locate like a good free one, and we'll pop them in there. I'll look at that little link you sent me to, Ashley. Let's see here. Oh, you had a whole conversation. Okay. So Caitlin's sharing a whole conversation about, okay. So here's Caitlin, how you can keep moving it forward is keep connecting about something else. You just keep that connection going. Just because you've connected about self-development, now you will just keep connecting. Now, maybe it's like you see something else. Maybe she's a mom. Maybe there's something else that you have connected with, and you just keep diving deeper. Okay. And here's a good thing that happens every single day is, let's just say that you're connecting, you're starting to talk. They ask you something about Thrive, and then you set them up a free account. You give them the information. They're like, and then they ghost you. Okay. And then you send them a follow-up Thrive message. This has happened to you guys. Happens to me all the time. I just sent over 3 messages right before we got on the Zoom to this exact situation. Okay. And here's the thing. You just go back to connecting. It doesn't mean that you just don't beat them with Thrive Talk anymore, because guess what? They were ready. Now maybe they're not. Okay. So you just go back to making that connection. You just take a little bit of a step back and keep connecting. And the end of this, and if y'all have any more questions, let me know, but the end of the whole thing is to have conversations. So many people, you guys, after the Orlando training, it was so good. But I have had a mentor. I reached out to these people who are sideline sisters of me. I've had a mentor call Zoom with 3 of the people that were on the stage. Okay. They've all been in this business a lot less time than I. Okay. I don't even really know like what their success has been, but I know that they are crushing their personal. I'm not talking about team, because your team is built from your personal business, crushing their personal business. And so I had 3 mentor calls with them. They were so sweet and kind to do that. And here is the thing I will tell you. There is nothing astronomical about how to have success. It starts right here with conversations. If your business isn't where you want it to be, you need to share your story more. You need to talk to more people. You need to be more intentional about it. It doesn't matter, to be honest, it does not matter what you post on social media if you're not having conversations. If you have 5 minutes to work this business, go talk to 2 people. Do not post on social media. Okay. You don't need to post on social media to have success. For 13 months, I personally did not post on social media and built a 40K team and did not use social media to do it. On the front end, I had conversations on the back end, but not posting. Okay, you guys, there is no secret sauce. And it's funny because I was talking with another leader today and I'm like, there is no secret sauce. It's getting into the grind of having these conversations and realizing that you can't have a great conversation. Like I'll use it, not saying, Caitlin, that this is at all what you're doing. I'm just going to use this as an example. But Caitlin, like you start having this great conversation about personal development in reading, and then it stays there. You don't talk to this person again in 3 days and learn more about them and learn how you can serve them, or you stop it there. Well, now in a month from now, you got to restart. I've been there, done that a gazillion times. Okay. It takes longer. So really just having that conversation and y'all not being afraid to say, hey, can you chat? It's too much to type. Let's hop on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes. So that is truly, and whatever your follow-up system is, if you don't have one, get one. It is crucial for your business. Get a calendar, use Trello, do sticky notes, do a pad, whatever works for you, but have something, because if not, you will have, a lot of conversations dropping on the back end. So I hope this was helpful. Ashley, anything else that's on your heart to share tonight?
I will tell you one last thing is I don't know how well grounded you guys are in your personal market, like in your town where you're at. But I will tell you that people are now starting to recognize me as the thriver, and customers are coming and talking and seeing me face to face. And I love that. I love seeing people face to face. And I will tell you, with my social media, I don't use filters. I try to show very raw so that when people see me in public, they know who I am. And when I talk to them, I also talk to who they're with. And so whether you're on social media or you're face to face, don't just talk to the individual that's there. Make sure that you're talking to the ones that they're with too, because they may be the very one that needs it more than the one that you're talking to, if that makes sense. I know, kind of around the world, but
Oh, so good. Awesome, you guys. Well, I am excited for you. I would love to know if you decide to track your conversations this week. If y'all have not heard really, I've said it on a handful of Zooms, but I'm going to give you a suggestion if this is a struggle area for you, or your PPA and your personal volume is not where you want it to be. I'm going to give you this suggestion. Amber and I, obviously she is my sponsor, but you can do this with a sideline. You can do this with anyone that is putting in the effort that you are as well, right? That's going to push you, maybe have a little fun competition. But we sat down and we did an accountability every single Monday. We talked for 30 minutes. We pushed each other, and that started in October. Okay. And I will just be very transparent. My personal volume was very good because I have done a great job of keeping customers, but my PPA was much lower than where it normally sits. And it had been, and I knew I was talking to people. So we came up with this idea of tracking our conversations. And the very first week in October, I tracked my conversations. I was so disappointed with myself because I thought I was talking to a lot of people, but I wasn't being intentional about sharing my story, my products, this business, and what it had done. I talked to 20 to 30 people a day. And I could go all day and not be intentional about sharing my story. And I did not realize it until I started tracking. And that whole week, I think my average was like maybe twice a day I shared my story. Okay. Now I know my numbers may be higher because, I'm at home and this is outside of my family, this is my full-time thing, but I don't work it. I don't work full-time with it. Okay. So I will tell you that once I started doing that, the next week, I didn't beat myself up, but it was a wake-up call. The next week I said, I'm going to set myself a goal. I got to do better. I'm going to have 20 conversations. And out of that 20, 10 of them, it needs to be something about Thrive. All right. And y'all, I will tell you since then, and it's constant. I have a sticky note here in front of me because ever since then, it has been like my PPA, my new Thrivers has been completely exploding. It took me about 3 weeks of tracking and 3 weeks of consistency. So I want to challenge you to do that if you're not already doing that, because you may really be surprised at the amount of times you're actually sharing your story with people. And then you never know. I mean, try it out for 3 weeks and see what it is, because right now, I know everybody says like it's Christmas and people are not spending money, but y'all, people are spending money. They spend more money now than they do any month of the year. Okay. It may be on a credit card, it may be regular, but what if you could offer this, the Thrive Experience, detox, anything like that for under their tree? All right. So don't go in with the mindset of people aren't spending money, because they are. All right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, Ashley. Tell Jeremy, tell her I said thank you for sharing so much tonight. And if you guys have anything else that you want to hear, I'm going to do another brand new, like New Year's boot camp sort of coinciding with this. If you guys have anything else that you guys want to hear, you want to know about, please let me know. And does anybody have any thoughts or comments, questions before we hop off? Beth, you look like you want to say something. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on a different device. Did I unmute?
You did.
Okay. So yeah, as you were tracking, because I've been doing this with myself too, to hold myself more accountable with that sticky note. So I've been checking off boxes. So are you finding most of your people online? Because then in your social media contexts. Yes.
Is that where I'm finding people to talk to?
Yes. Is that where the majority of your leads are coming from?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do a lot of things to keep warm leads coming. I'm just going to be really super transparent, you guys. And this is not to say like, this is what works for me, and it has worked for me. And anyone who puts these combinations together, I've never not seen it work for. But I'm very, very consistent in my stories. I have been very consistent about putting up free samples, and I've been very consistent about sharing. This week, I'm really going to be very consistent about the business aspect. I'm trying to add something new. And then I won't put a ton up about Thrive, but when I do, I try to make it very powerful. Like my before and after, certain things, I try to make it powerful. And honestly, because of the consistency, I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a gal that sent in for a sample, a free sample. Y'all, she had a sample 3 years ago. She's never ordered. She used to be here. A connection. She was a librarian at my kid's school. We stayed connected. She hated her experience. She didn't even finish her 3-day sample. She hated it. It was horrible. We've connected, but I've not been intentional about it. She wanted a free sample. And then I asked her what her pain points were, because I sent her a free sample, but I said, what are your pain points? She told me her pain points. I said, a free sample is not going to help you. I'm just going to give you the real and raw expectations. This is what you need. You need detox and you need the 30 days. And she ordered both today before she even got her sample. But it's because she goes, I keep seeing you share, and I see all these other people share too. So I just need to try it. after all these years. So that is the thing. It's just being consistent and talking to the right amount of people. So I set up like follow-ups. I have I right now, I work with different numbers, but right now I have a top 50 list. I used to do 100. I just honestly can't keep up with that many. So 50 people that have shown interest. They've shown some sort of interest in this product. And those are the people that I connect with every 5 days. Okay. I'm connecting with them. If they don't respond to me in 3 or 4 times, they're off. Right. That means, and then I may move them to monthly connection, every other month connection, but I am very organized about that. So if you don't have an organization system, because here's the thing, a lot of the people will come to you because of your simple conversations, and you may never have even brought up Thrive, but you're in your stories, you're being consistent about sharing, you're being consistent about the products, you're posting your 1, 2, 3s every day, and you're showing up that way. And so look who's watching your stories. That is the number one place to get your warm leads and generate those conversations. If you're looking for people to talk to, look who's watching you. Look who's following along with you. And if you don't have like, you're like, oh my God, I've talked to all those people, then go and generate some new things. Do a this or that, and you can generate some new things. I'm doing the 12 days of giving. You can do this at any point. It doesn't have to be Christmas. And so it's really cool to see who's actually engaging in on that, just because they want to win something free. I didn't even tell them what they're winning, because I'm going to just choose what I want them to win, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be about Thrive. So does that help, Beth? Yeah. And listen, if I meet people out in public, you better believe I'm connecting with them. I'm bringing them onto social media. But to be honest with you, I'm not doing a ton of that right now. I'm just not.
Yes, that was very helpful, Kelly. Yes.
Yep. I just think it's a few of the moving parts, and it's once you get all that together, it will be helpful. So, all right, you guys, y'all have a great night. Okay. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for being on.